There are 358 days to the next presidential election in the United States of America. And the Democrats state that by December, or by Christmas, actually, 2019, the impeachment should be concluded. President Trump will be out of office. This is what they state. Representative Al Green, a Democrat, stated that if they don't impeach President Trump, he will win again. Now, that seems immoral to me, folks. Now, is impeachment supposed to be a tool used by the opposition for political expediency, or is this supposed to be a tool used in the best interest of Americans to get rid of a president who has been convicted of high crimes and misdemeanors? Is it supposed to be used for political expediency, or does it have a moral foundation as to why it was created, a way to protect the interests of the American people? Even Nancy Pelosi stated that impeachment is a bad idea unless it is bipartisan. It's a bad idea. It will divide the country. And unless there is compelling and overwhelming evidence, we will not proceed. Well, the Republicans voted 0 in favor of impeachment, and the Democrats, an overwhelming majority, voted for it, some not voting at all. But still, since they do have the majority, they won the right, I should say, to have an impeachment inquiry. It's not bipartisan by any stretch of the imagination. And the whole basis of this impeachment is quid pro quo. Quid pro quo is Latin for something for something. So an exchange, a trade. The question arises, was there quid pro quo in the phone call between President Donald Trump and the Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky? There is an argument on both sides. There absolutely is. Okay? One of them is a bit of a stretch. The other one, at face value, you can say, no, there was none there. But I can kind of see where you're coming from. It's very important to understand quid pro quo is not a negative thing. Neither is it a positive thing. It is just a thing that describes another thing. Let's break that down. Quid pro quo, something for something, and it's an exchange, right? That happens all the time in politics. It happens all the time in life. It happens all the time. Any transaction, something for something, that is not good or bad. What allows us to characterize that something for something is the content which is being exchanged. The Democrats are stating, this is their position, that President Trump, in that phone call that he released after being accused, and they didn't expect that, so it kind of screwed him. But the Democrats are saying that President Trump was using his elected office as president to benefit himself by getting information on Joe Biden and his son and Burisma Holdings and the prosecutor that was fired. We'll get into that in a second. And the Democrats are saying that he is doing that. He wants that information on the 2016 elections and the hard drive that wasn't given over to the FBI. He's using that information to benefit himself. That is the argument on behalf of the Democrats. But folks, what I need to understand, what would give the Democrats' argument credibility, is if they didn't completely ignore the fact that presidential candidate Joe Biden, in a video, this is a video during an interview, lots of people in the room, he literally explained something that he did that is textbook quid pro quo. Textbook using your office and your position as a way to benefit yourself and your family. This is what I don't understand. And this is what no Democrat pundit or political scientist will explain. None of them can satisfy this point. The fact that Joe Biden on a video interview said, listen, this prosecutor was looking into this company, a company called Burisma Holdings that his son was part of the board for, receiving $50,000 a month for an expertise that he has no history. There's no evidence that he has expertise in that field of natural gas, receiving $50,000 a month. A Ukraine prosecutor was looking into Burisma Holdings. And Joe Biden said, if you don't fire that prosecutor looking into the company that my son is a part of, getting a lucrative salary. If you do not fire him, we, the United States of America, will withhold over $1 billion in loan guarantees. And as he said in the interview, he said, well, son of a B, they fired him. That is textbook quid pro quo. And this is the thing. Even though it may be a stretch to say that there was a negative sense of quid pro quo in the conversation with Trump and President Zelensky, you have to be able to understand, and you have to be able to see that there was definitely a quid pro quo in that Biden interaction. And until you can say that, until you can acknowledge that, your points for impeaching the president and saying that phone call was made in bad faith, it is nil. It does not hold any water. It has no strong foundation. It can't take you seriously. Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating that when you say no, hold on a second, there's quid pro quo. That is blatant quid pro quo, and they say no, hold on, look over there. Don't look over there. Don't look over there, bigot. Look over there at the president. Look at President Trump. And this is where they lack credibility, apart from the fact that Adam Schiff is having these closed door hearings, barring the American public from seeing what's going on in those closed doors when they're talking about impeaching the president of all people. You have Adam Schiff, who is leading this thing, and he's actually a material witness because the whistleblower went to him. You have the whole the fact that the whistleblower is actually someone who is familiar and friendly with Joe Biden. And Facebook and the likes are going as far as censoring people that are saying the name of the whistleblower, because with that name comes a history. With that name comes context. With that name comes, credibility of the whole impeachment inquiry, the whole investigation. And when you have these people, even though this name was published, I think initially by Drudge Report, and you have the news agencies saying now the public can't say that name. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And it warrants serious concern. In addition to that presidential talk for 2020, I did write an article on my website. It's called In the 11th Hour, My Prediction for the 2020 Presidential Elections. Definitely give that a read. Summary, I do believe that Hillary Clinton will enter the race at the 11th hour. At the latest possible time, she will enter the race. I go way more in depth in my article, so give that a read. And I've been saying this since 2017. So it'll be really exciting if that does come to pass.